everybody, it's Krista here at Montclair Village Pilates, and we're going to do a little foam rolling workout today. So I have a soft pink OPTP brand foam roller. You can use whatever foam roller you have, but if you're looking for a foam roller, I highly recommend one like this because it's a little bit soft, and I prefer a softer type of foam roller, and that's what I recommend for my clients rather than having the really hard, firm foam roller. So we're going to take this roller and we're going to place it right in the middle of our mat. Now I have the luxury of having this raised mat. You may not have a raised mat where you are, but I'll just show you on my raised mat because there's a nice feature when you're above the ground. So we're going to sit at the very front of the roller and then just ease your way down onto your back. So you want to make sure that your head is supported on the roller. Right now my head is kind of coming off the back. So I'm going to move myself a little bit forward so that my head stays supported on the roller. So the other thing is, if you find that your head is ending up leaning way back and your chin is not pointing straight up to the ceiling, grab either a folded up towel or a small pillow and place it underneath your head so that your head can be neutral. So here in this position, we're just going to have a nice neutral position of our spine. We don't need to be trying to flatten our low back into the roller. That's not what we need right now. You can just have a nice neutral position of your spine and take your arms out to the side. So this is what I was talking about having an elevated surface, because my arms can get this really nice stretch assisted by gravity. So again, if you don't have an elevated surface, no problem. But if you do, then it's a little bonus. So I'm just letting my arms hang a bit out to the sides to stretch my pectoral muscles of my chest. And you might find if you have very tight muscles in the front of your chest that your rib cage might start to pop up off of the roller. So if that's the case, what I would suggest is maybe prop your arms up with some pillows or something so that you're not being yanked into this overstretched position, because that's going to not do us good in the long run. So here, we're just going to hold and breathe. I'm going to try to breathe into the back of my ribs, expanding my lungs wide out to the sides of the room. And then as I exhale, I'm going to let my front ribs kind of drop heavily into my body. So the longer you're here, the easier it will be to kind of relax in the position and to relax your rib cage down into the roller. And if you're doing this exercise on your own sometime, you can hold it really for as long as you feel like is helpful. We're going to continue moving on here. So we're going to do a little mini arm circle. So you're just going to gently bend at your elbows and tap your fingers onto your collarbone areas. And then we're going to take our arm bone inside of the shoulder joint, and we're just going to start rolling that head of the arm bone, the head of the humerus, inside of the little cup that sits on our shoulder blade that holds our arm bone. So you want to keep that kind of snugged in to the joint as we roll. And so what I'm not doing is I'm not pulling on my pec muscles or pulling on my collarbones and shoulder blades to give me a big circle. I want a nice small circle, and I want it really deep in the joint. The other thing I'm looking for here is that it's smooth and I don't feel creaking or crackling or snapping. And if I do, I want to see if I can just go a little bit slower, maybe a little smaller, and see what I need to do to adjust so that I don't feel that pulling or yanking or crackling action. So it's a very small circle. So once you've done a few circles in each direction, gently release your arms down to your mat. And then here we're going to do an arm reach. So for our arm reach, we're going to think of, again, the arm bone sitting inside of the joint, and it's going to start reaching up, and you're going to reach it back. I'm going to reach back pretty much as far as I can go without distorting my shoulder joint, right? So I don't want to yank on my collarbone or my shoulder blade to bring me back. Again, I want to do my best to keep that arm bone in the socket as I'm rolling it back. Now you'll get to a point where you actually cannot move it any further without gently letting your scapula kind of slide up. That's fine. But again, we're not pulling on the scapula or the shoulder, the collarbone to reach the arm. So we're going to do maybe about 3 or 4 of those. And then bring that arm back down. And then we'll change sides. So we're going to bring right arm up and back. You may notice that you have one side that has more range of motion than the other. My right side has more range of motion than my left. And that's pretty normal. Most people are not 100% symmetrical, but that's why we do this work, right? To balance ourselves out. So you're reaching back, not lifting too much with that scapula. And we're going to do one more. Reaching back, and I'm trying to breathe into my rib cage. The other thing that we want to avoid here is as our arm goes back, we don't want to just tug on the rib cage to pull the arm back, right? So we're going to bring that arm down. So there's my arm reaches. Now to work the core a little bit, we're going to walk our feet in towards one another. So the feet are going to go all the way together, knees go all the way together, and immediately you'll start to feel this sense that you have a little bit less stability. So you might feel a little kind of wobbling side to side, and that's a good thing because that means your core is having to stabilize you. So we're turning on those deep, deep muscles inside of our bodies, and we're thinking of drawing our belly muscles down. Now that might press your low back a little more into the roller than it was before, but again, we're not going to tug on the pelvis to push the low back down. We're going to use the abdominal muscles to let those low back bones gently reach down toward the roller, and if they imprint a little into the roller, that's fine, but they may not. You know, everybody's back is a little bit different. So once I feel that I'm stable and I have my abdominal wall kind of pulled in, I'm going to pick up one leg. So I'm going to let my rib cage be heavy into the roller. As I pick up one thigh bone toward me, I'm going to use my low belly to keep pulling this thigh bone a little bit in toward my center. You can be in a tabletop, which is knee over hip, or you can be a little further in, whatever feels better for your body. And then from here, I'm going to, again, engage that low belly to pull my left thigh in toward my center line. And there I am. So you can see I have a little bit of a wiggle happening here, and that's a good thing because that means I'm stabilizing. You might have a little more of a wiggle when you first get on. You'll get better. So then what we're going to do is a little one leg lower lift. So this is not about tapping my toes and doing a march. It's really about using the weight of my leg to weight train my core, really. So I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to start lowering my left thigh bone down away from my center line. And then my exhale deepens my low belly to pull that thigh bone closer to my center. And then I change. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you lower. Exhale to pick up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. One more each side. Inhale, lower. Exhale, heavy rib cage, lift. Last time. And there's your one leg lower lift. So if you want to make that a little bit harder, what we do, we drop our heels down toward our bottom. We keep pulling that low belly muscle in, and we're going to inhale, start slowly lowering both thigh bones. Now as I lower my thigh bones, I'm going to keep pulling my pubic bone a little bit toward my nose. And I exhale, pulls my thigh bones back in toward me. Inhale down. Exhale up. Now you choose how far away from your body you go, right? So those legs are heavy. So if you go too far, I'll show you going too far, and I can't hold this, right? Because you see my low back's coming off the roller a whole bunch. So as I lower down, I'm going to keep pulling those low abs in, zippering up from pubic bone to my nose to keep that pelvis level. One more time. Inhale down. Exhale up. The other thing that we want to watch out for is when we go down, we don't want to let it fall like that with our head and our shoulders, right? So we want to keep it all together. So I'm gonna lower one leg, I'm gonna lower the other leg, and I'm gonna gently roll myself to one side or the other to take the roller out from underneath me. And then I'm just gonna tuck this roller underneath my knees and just enjoy being on a flat surface for a moment. Letting my spine acclimate to being on this non-rolling surface. Now we're gonna do one more thing, which is a psoas relaxation. So gently, I'm gonna start rolling this roller underneath my pelvis. Go kind of slow because we don't want our hamstrings to cramp here. And then we're gonna pull the right knee in toward the chest. I'm gonna hold on either in front of my shin, but if that's too big of a reach for you, you can hold behind your thigh, that's fine too. And then I'm gonna take my other leg, my opposite leg, and I'm gonna let it release out. So the left leg right now is the side of the body, not just the leg, but the whole abdomen that I'm gonna be kind of relaxing. So I'm thinking of not having to hold my leg up in space. I'm gonna let my leg drop. And I'm gonna think of lengthening all the way from the back of my rib cage, letting that drop a little bit, and then feeling a long stretch in front of my left side of my abdomen, in front of my left side of my pelvis, and then all the way up into the high inner thigh on the left side. So that's pretty much the length of our psoas muscle, which is an important one because it literally connects our top to our bottom. And we're just gonna breathe with this. So when you do this on your own, if you're not just following the video, you can do this for a couple of minutes at a time. It feels really nice. It should feel really nice. If you feel pain, then I would not do this one. But for most people, it just feels like a relaxation. So we're just breathing into the back of our ribs and letting that space in front of the pelvis kind of open out. Think about your low back almost relaxing like a hammock down toward the mat, because what we don't want is this kind of thing, right? Because that would mean that we're compressing our back and our psoas muscle is popping up toward the ceiling. So we're gonna try to drop it in and let it be nice and relaxed. So for our purposes today, I'm gonna start changing legs. Now when you change legs, it's important not to just yank on your leg, right? Because we just did a nice little relaxation for this. So we wanna keep it relatively relaxed. So you're gonna draw the belly muscles in, drop your rib cage down toward the mat, and then just slide that knee in toward you. And then we're gonna do the other side. So you can hang on behind your thigh or in front of your shin. Either one is good. And then just start sliding that other leg out. And again, this one might feel different than the other one. On this side, for me, I feel more kind of stretch in the front of my hip, whereas on the other side, it was kind of a little bit tighter toward my rib cage. So everyone's a little bit different. But again, I don't want to be trying to hold my leg up in the air. Just let your leg kind of drop. Feel the length from the inner thigh all the way up into that rib cage. And maybe even you can think about lengthening your quadriceps muscles, those muscles in the front of your thigh. So those get a little bit of a relaxation as well. And we're just going to hold this for a couple more breaths. And then again, to release, we're going to just go ahead and pull the belly in, drop the rib cage down a little bit, and slide that leg into us. I'm just going to give myself a little hug here. And then I'm going to hold the roller as I do this, gently lower the legs to the mat. Very small little bridge to get myself out of this roller. Lower back down onto your back. And again, just enjoy the feeling here of being on that flat surface. And then once you feel like you've kind of acclimated, you can move the roller down, and you can actually even just let the roller sit underneath your calves. You can even roll your legs side to side and massage your calves a little bit for a little extra moment of massage there. Okay, so that's our foam roller workout, and we'll have a couple of more for different parts of the body. Thanks so much. Have a great day.